Christmas jumper, antlers. Yeah, that's right, it's nearly Christmas. Woohoo! Although I'm probably going to take these off. Christmas is nearly here, so I thought it'd be a good opportunity to share some tips and tricks about surviving Christmas as an Ostomate. Christmas is a chance to spend some quality time with friends and family, whether that's round the corner or across the UK or even around the world. Now it can be quite daunting staying somewhere for the first time after surgery, especially if it's somewhere that you're not quite sure about, somewhere you've never been before, or if it's with people that you've not told about your surgery, and it could be that you're worried about having a leak or not having enough supplies, but there are a few ways to avoid this. If you're really nervous, it could be a good idea to tell someone who you're staying with that you've had surgery recently. You don't have to say what kind of surgery it is, but just say that you're a bit nervous about being away from home. It's also a good idea to make sure that you've got enough supplies to cover the period that you're away from home. Maybe take a few extra supplies just in case there's any bad winter weather or if there's any sort of holiday traffic. If you're worried about having a leak, do what I do, plan for the worst case scenario. Get an emergency plan in place, just in the back of your head. So make sure you know where the bathroom facilities are, make sure you know where the bins are, make sure you kind of have an area mapped out in your head to know, okay, if anything happens and I need to change my bag, I can do it in there, or I can, you know, all my supplies will stay like in this little cupboard. So just have this little plan. When you get somewhere, just plan it out. Then at least, hopefully you'll never have to use your emergency plan, but if you do, at least you have it in place. If you're travelling abroad, just make sure you've got enough supplies to cover you. Again, it could be that you're sort of delayed or anything, so just make sure you've got enough to cover the stay. If you're travelling by air, just remember that you can't take scissors on the plane, so it'd be a good idea to pre-cut the base plates before you go to the airport, and then at least you don't have to take scissors with you. And also adhesive remover sprays like the aerosols, try and swap those for like the wipes instead, just so then you don't have any problems when you go through security. Christmas, of course, is a time for celebrating, and that often means socialising and going out with friends and family, and maybe, you know, the Christmas work party. So a few things to remember when getting into that festive spirit. Now, you can drink alcohol as an Ostomate, but of course, be responsible, especially if it's not been long since your surgery. Definitely take it easy. Don't forget that you can get dehydrated very quickly as an Ostomate, and alcohol will make you dehydrated, so make sure you drink plenty of water, especially if you're anything like me and are going dancing the night away. Just make sure you keep on top of your water, and then hopefully you won't get dehydrated. If you're going out for a meal with friends or family, a lot of restaurants will have their menus online, so you can look at their website and see what food is available. A lot of the time you can contact the restaurant and just let them know that there's some foods that you might not be able to have. A lot of restaurants kind of cater to different dietary requirements. There's a lot of like allergies around these days, so it's always good if you're nervous or if you're not quite sure, either go on the website for the restaurant or you can always contact them. And a lot of the time they have got like a contact us page, so it's probably a good chance to do that before the meal. Speaking of food itself can be quite a concern for Ostomates, particularly if it's very close after surgery. A lot of people want to know, what sort of food can I eat, what food do I have to avoid? If you're not sure about what sort of foods to eat, stay safe. Just eat very easy to digest foods. Avoid anything that's got like tough skins or like really fibrous vegetables. You know, tend to stick to more sort of easy to digest foods. I still stay away from things like really tough vegetable skins, like potato skins I'll avoid. I don't have mushrooms, I don't have nuts or seeds, I don't have sweet corn or popcorn. All the stuff that you kind of hear of difficult to digest foods, I will tend to avoid. And people often ask, you know, what kind of vegetables can I have? I mean, one tip is to slightly overcook your vegetables, and I know that kind of you lose a bit of the nutrients with that, but at least it's easy to digest. Now, I love mashed potato, and I do like mashing lots of vegetables, so mashed potato, carrot, swede, all those kind of vegetables that you can mash up with a bit of butter, lovely, and it's easy to digest. The golden rule is to chew very carefully and very thoroughly. That way that you'll be eliminating your risk of getting a blockage. Lots of different foods will have different effects on the stomal output. So for example, stuff might thicken the output or slow it down, or, you know, make it more frequent, or it can create odour or wind. So just bear in mind when you're reaching for those Brussels sprouts that some foods may have different outputs. If you're concerned about the noises that your stoma makes, You can get bag covers that can help muffle the sounds, or, as it's Christmas, get people to sing Christmas songs or turn up the Christmas music. That's what I'll be doing. Another great thing about Christmas is that it's a time for giving and receiving, and of course, I mean presents. Now, if you're lucky enough to get a giant present, just be careful when lifting it, because ostomates are at a greater risk of getting a hernia. So you can either get someone else to lift it for you or to help you lift it, or you can get things like hernia prevention belts that can sort of fit around the abdomen, and that will just help prevent the risk of hernia. When I think of Christmas, I think of snow. And of course with snow comes things like winter sports such as skiing and snowboarding and ice skating and all the stuff that I'm way too clumsy to do. If you are into all those ice skating and snowboarding and skiing, then there are a few things you can do. You can have, again, a hernia prevention belt just to make sure that you're not at a risk of getting a hernia, but also you can get things like stoma guards that can help protect the stoma. So things like skiing and snowboarding and stuff where you could fall over, you've got a sort of a guard to help protect the stoma, so you can go ahead and be active and not have that fear of damaging the stoma. Well, I've still got a few more presents to wrap, and if you have any Christmas tips of your own to share, please feel free to put them in the comments below or tweet at Coloplast_UK and use the hashtag #MyOstomy Finally, I just wanted to say, not just from me but from everyone at Coloplast, have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.